Why move into management? Uncovering the true motivation for African leaders. It's a decision many high-performing professionals across the African continent grapple with at some point in their careers. Should I move from being an individual contributor, IC, into a management role? In rapidly expanding tech hubs like Lagos and Nairobi, on factory floors in Cape Town, or within ambitious agribusiness firms in Accra, this question crops up repeatedly. The title of manager often conjures images of influence, higher pay, greater recognition, and a seat at the decision-making table. But as more African economies mature and offer more diverse career paths, making the leap into management is not as straightforward or as universally beneficial as it once seemed. Before diving into the reasons, good and bad, for moving into management, it's crucial to understand what's at stake. Management is not merely about overseeing tasks, it's about guiding people. Successful African leaders know their influence extends beyond their immediate departments to communities, markets, and even entire countries. Embracing a leadership role means shouldering responsibilities that include motivating teams across cultural divides, navigating resource constraints, and envisioning long-term growth in environments that can be unpredictable yet rife with opportunity. If you find value in these insights, please remember to like this video. Your support helps us deliver more tailored leadership guidance for African managers and professionals. In this expanded guide, we'll break down the reasoning behind moving into management, identifying the hollow justifications that may lead to dissatisfaction and the single strongest reason that can genuinely justify the shift. Ultimately, you'll have a clearer perspective on whether management aligns with your career goals, values, and the kind of legacy you want to create. The not-so-good reasons for becoming a manager. Money. It's entirely reasonable for professionals in Africa, or anywhere else, to seek financial betterment. After all, greater income can mean improved living conditions, better education for one's children, or capital for future investments. But moving into management solely for a pay raise is misguided for several reasons. Not always true, management is not a guaranteed path to higher earnings. In fact, some technical roles, like staff-level engineers in a Pan-African fintech or senior agricultural scientists in a multinational supply chain, may offer equivalent or higher pay than entry-level managerial roles. Temporary satisfaction, money's glow fades fast. If a bigger paycheck is your only motivator, that initial excitement wears off quickly, a phenomenon known as hedonic adaptation. Meanwhile, the challenges of leading people, organizing meetings, handling interpersonal conflicts, and taking responsibility for team outcomes remain. If you dislike back-to-back Zoom calls or complex stakeholder negotiations, no amount of money will make those burdens vanish. I once mentored a Nigerian software developer who was thrilled to accept a team lead role because it came with a raise. 3 months in, he confided in me, "The extra money is nice, but now I spend my days resolving arguments instead of building exciting features." He realized he would have preferred a staff engineer track where he could maintain technical depth and still earn well, without sacrificing the joy of coding. Status. Across Africa's diverse professional landscape, social status and recognition often hold cultural importance. Being seen as a manager can sometimes elevate your standing in family or community circles. However, chasing status alone can lead to unfulfilling work, quickly loses meaning. Much like money, the thrill of a prestigious title is short-lived. Once you settle into the role, the day-to-day responsibilities overshadow the initial ego boost. Misaligned values, management is about collective success, not personal glory. If your chief desire is personal standing, you may find the constant emphasis on supporting others, rather than shining as an individual, less than satisfying. Growth as the only path. In earlier times, and still in some traditional African companies, the only way to move up was through management. A strong technical or specialized track didn't exist. Thankfully, this is changing. From Egypt's booming renewable energy sector to Rwanda's innovative ICT initiatives, many organizations now offer parallel career ladders. You can remain an IC and still advance, earn more, and gain influence. Easier alternatives. If your current company only offers growth via management, consider looking elsewhere. Many progressive African firms provide robust career paths for ICS, letting you deepen your technical expertise or strategic thinking without becoming a people manager. Short story snippet. Personal example 2. Back in my earlier days, I worked at a manufacturing firm in Kenya where promotion to manager was the only option for advancement. A talented logistics coordinator felt forced to become a warehouse supervisor to get ahead. After a year, he left to join a global logistics startup in Johannesburg that let him progress as a logistics specialist without managing a team. He thrived, eventually becoming a regional supply chain expert. External influences. Perhaps your peers are moving into management, or your mentor from Ghana advised it as the next logical step. Maybe your family in Cameroon wants to see you in charge, making it easier for them to understand your role. While external influences can spark introspection, they shouldn't dictate your career moves. Lack of alignment. If your personal ambitions center on problem-solving, craftsmanship, or thought leadership rather than personnel management, caving to external pressure leads to disillusionment. Critical evaluation needed. There's nothing wrong with considering external viewpoints. The key is to critically assess whether management aligns with your own aspirations, not just those placed upon you. Having a seat at the table. If you're frustrated by a lack of transparency in decision-making, maybe you're in a Tunisian startup where strategic discussions happen behind closed doors. You might think that becoming a manager guarantees inside access. But changing careers to fix a communication issue isn't always the solution. Changing context, not careers. Sometimes, you just need a more transparent organization, not a management role. Some African companies excel at open communication and inclusive planning sessions where ICS have substantial input. Steve Jobs' perspective. The late Steve Jobs quipped that the only good reason to be a manager is to prevent a less competent person from ruining the team. While humorous, it underscores a key point. If you want a seat at the table solely because you crave being in the know, consider first finding a company where open dialogue is the norm. The one good reason, an internal shift of focus. If all the bad reasons revolve around external motivations, money, status, forced paths, external pressures, what's the good reason? It comes down to an internal shift. You find yourself genuinely caring more about enabling others than about your own individual achievements. When you reach a point where you find satisfaction in watching your teammates succeed, you think about how to streamline processes for everyone's benefit, not just your own. You derive joy from mentoring someone in Uganda or South Africa, helping them reach new heights. You realize that creating an environment where your team members thrive genuinely makes you happier than claiming the spotlight yourself. Then you know you're ready for a management path. This reason transcends the fleeting allure of a job title or a pay raise. It's about evolving from me to we. In Africa's complex professional landscapes, leaders who think this way can achieve sustainable, meaningful impact, improving livelihoods, fostering innovation, and shaping more inclusive organizations. Embracing the manager's value, impact, leverage, and vision. If you find this internal drive, this growing focus on others, resonates with you, the managerial path offers 3 major rewards: impact, leverage, and vision. Impact. As an IC, your influence often stops at what you personally produce. Suppose you're a data analyst at a Nigerian fintech. Your coding skill matters, but it only goes as far as the projects you directly handle. As a manager, your influence can multiply, exponential effect. By nurturing 5 or 10 high-performing team members, your influence radiates outward, shaping an entire department or product line. Imagine transforming a struggling software team in Kenya into a powerhouse that delivers reliable solutions empowering small-scale entrepreneurs. That's a level of impact far beyond what any single person can achieve alone. Societal benefit. In many African contexts, creating a thriving team doesn't just boost a company's bottom line. It can open up new markets, provide employment opportunities, or bring innovative services, like mobile banking or affordable solar technology, to underserved communities. Your managerial leadership can ripple into real-world improvements. Leverage. Leverage is about making substantial changes with relatively small inputs. Think of it like a lever that amplifies your force. Process improvements. As a manager, you can identify inefficiencies and remove bottlenecks. For instance, if your team in Senegal spends hours on manual data entry, you can streamline the workflow or introduce new tools, saving everyone time and frustration. This scaling effect means your decisions can uplift productivity and satisfaction across the board. Cultural shifts. Beyond processes, you can influence workplace culture. Perhaps you introduce regular team check-ins that boost morale, or create mentorship programs that help junior employees in Tanzania acquire new skills. Your actions set a tone that reverberates throughout the organization. Vision. Whereas an IC often focuses on executing tasks, a manager has the privilege and responsibility of envisioning future possibilities. Strategic thinking. You get to ask big questions like, how can our logistics team support more efficient trade routes across East Africa? Or how do we expand our mobile apps features to cater to a Swahili-speaking user base? Your role involves imagining what could be and charting a path to get there. Seeing the whole picture, leaders integrate multiple perspectives, technical, financial, cultural, to guide their teams forward. You're no longer confined to your immediate tasks. Instead, you orchestrate efforts that might shape entire market segments or value chains, potentially impacting how everyday Africans live, work, and prosper. As a project lead in a Ghanaian agritech startup, I managed a team of agronomists, engineers, and customer service representatives. Initially, I was focused on just coding a better data collection system. But over time, I realized I loved helping them improve their workflows. I introduced weekly sessions where agronomists taught engineers about regional crop cycles. The engineers responded by optimizing our platform for different climates. Within a year, we supported thousands of smallholder farmers with real-time advice, improving their yields. This multifaceted vision would never have emerged if I stayed purely technical. Making the decision a structured approach. If you think you might be ready for management because you care deeply about others' success, consider these steps to ensure you're making the right move. Self-assessment. Reflect on your professional journey. When was the last time you felt genuine excitement not from your personal accomplishment, but from helping someone else shine? If this feeling is common, management might be your next chapter. Trial runs. Seek opportunities to lead projects or initiatives in a semi-formal capacity. Maybe you mentor a junior colleague in Cameroon or facilitate a cross-functional workshop in Egypt. If you find these experiences gratifying, that's a good sign. Honest conversations. Talk to existing managers, preferably those working in African markets who understand the continent's unique challenges. Ask them about their daily responsibilities, the emotional toll, and the rewards. Their insights can help you see beyond glamorous illusions. Company culture check. If your reason for entering management is to foster transparency or improve processes, ensure the company you're in supports managers who lead with empathy, openness, and innovation. A company's culture can greatly influence your satisfaction as a manager. Long-term vision. Consider where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. Do you envision leading larger and more diverse teams across multiple countries? Do you aspire to influence policymaking or expand your firm's footprint into new African markets? Management roles often serve as stepping stones to broader influence. Overcoming initial doubts and challenges. Even with the right motives, transitioning into management can be challenging. Here are a few strategies to maintain perspective, mentorship and learning. Seek mentors who have navigated African business landscapes. Their guidance can help you adapt to new responsibilities and manage cultural nuances. Continuous skills development. Managing people requires different skills than technical expertise, emotional intelligence, active listening, and strategic planning. Invest in leadership development programs, attend regional conferences, or join African leadership networks. Set realistic expectations. Understand that not every aspect of management is glamorous. There will be tough conversations, budget constraints, and cultural misunderstandings. The key is to stay committed to your core reason, uplifting others for greater collective impact. In a Pan-African healthcare startup, I took on a management role. I wrestled with the complexities of aligning Kenyan developers, Nigerian field staff, and Ethiopian data analysts around a common goal. At first, I doubted my decision. But remembering my core motivation, wanting to help these talented professionals excel, kept me going. Over time, I learned how to communicate more effectively across cultural lines, turning skepticism into synergy. When management truly makes sense. Management roles fit best when they align with your deeper values and aspirations. In Africa's evolving business ecosystems, leaders with the right motivations can shape industries, create job opportunities, and improve lives on a scale unimaginable for any single individual contributor. By focusing on team upliftment rather than personal gain, you not only grow your own career but also contribute to the continent's broader development. If you determine that management is the path you want to walk, do so with clarity of purpose. Embrace the chance to multiply your influence, build leverage through smarter processes, and craft a vision that resonates with both your team and the market you serve. Understand that while money, status, or external pressures may initially tempt you, they won't sustain you in the long run. Genuine care for people, their growth, and their well-being will. Before you go, if these insights resonate with you, please consider subscribing to this channel. We share more in-depth discussions, case studies, and strategies designed to empower African professionals to become impactful leaders.